Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow there at the end of that one. Tough loss, but really, really pleased with how we played, how we battled as a great team we went up against. I think possibly the best team in our conference, a top 20 program. I think they're top 15, top 10. To be honest with you, they've got some tremendous players and a really good staff up there at UCA, and credit those guys for making the plays and to get the job done. But very, very pleased with how we played overall. We went up there a little bit shorthanded, and we got a lot more shorthanded as the game went on, but the guys didn't flinch, and guys stepped up throughout the team and on both sides of the football and stepped up and made plays, and injuries equal opportunities, and some guys really stepped up and made the most of theirs. And, there were several times we could have given up throughout the game, and they just kept clawing back and fighting back and found a way to take the lead, and we're a tackle away from coming home victorious, or at least giving us a chance. And a lot of people want to point to that last fourth and goal play, but there were so many more that we left out there that could have really turned the tide in our favor, giving us a better chance to win. But the sideline was awesome. The team was awesome. It's really probably the best I've felt about our team in a couple of years, and I know that probably doesn't sound right coming after a tough, hard-fought loss like that. But just I thought we were playing our best football of the year, and just the feel I have where we are in that locker room right now, I feel really good about the Lumberjacks. And so tough place to play. We hadn't had much luck up there on the stripes over the years, and we got them last time we were up there, and about had them this time. But credit the Bears. They were 3 points better than us Saturday.
Well, you mentioned the fourth down play, but everybody seems to overlook, this is the second lowest scoring total that they've had all year, and the lowest score was 14 points against Oklahoma State. So maybe talk a little bit more on the overall defensive momentum, because Jermaine Brown had that big play earlier in the game, and that kind of steered you guys forward for the rest of the game.
Right. I thought the defense, did play well. We gave up too many yards rushing, but they've got some tremendous tailbacks. I mean, they've got an All-American tailback that doesn't play much, because they've got another All-American tailback that, that kid will play on Sundays. He's one of the best I've ever gone against in my 24 years of coaching, and so he's a Sunday guy. But it was a tough challenge. I thought our defensive staff had a really good game plan put together and gave them some fits. And there towards the end, if you watch film, and I think UCA would tell you, they were having to do something totally different than what they're used to doing, just trying to find ways to make yards and get it in the end zone that last time. So a tremendous effort out of the defense. Gave up a few explosives, and those explosives, each one of those led to points. And then we had a miscue on the roughing. As our defense out there, we roughed the kicker on a missed field goal, and that goes from 0 points, our football. You turn around and they score the next play. So that was a big swing in the game. But also, the credit's not all on the defense for that low point total. That's the offense too. And that was our game plan going into it, was to play ball control, to try to hang on. They had so many weapons on offense. We needed to win the time of possession, and our offense did. We went out there and bang, 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 up and down the field, before Brian got hurt. Ended up 0 for 3 in the red zone. Missed two kicks, and that's unacceptable, and it's not, characteristic of where we've been. And then, fourth and goal on 4th and 4, 4th and goal from the 4, end up running the wrong route and turned away 7 points there. So, we were able to do some things offensively to keep the ball in our possession, which again leads to lower point totals on defense. But had them pegged there pretty good, I thought, and kudos to the offensive staff as well for a good game plan. And then we had to adjust. When Brian goes down, that changes what you're doing. It changes the dynamic of who we are offensively. And I thought Preston did a great job, stepped up and led us to 21 points, and we had a victory, had a lead. Didn't lead to a victory, but I thought he stepped in and played really well in that role.
Talk about the opportunities, but then one of those opportunities came back, Jarrell Wembley, after his injury, and then surpassed 1,000 career rushing yards. So how big is having the second half of the two-headed backfield kind of coming back for you guys heading into this week?
Yeah, Jarrell's a leader of this team and one of our better players on offense, and he'd been hungry to get back out there and had worked his tail off, and really appreciate A.J. Van Valkenburg and our athletic training staff. They do a tremendous job with our players, keeping them healthy and then getting them back healthy when they are injured. And he sped that recovery up in a hurry and got back and was able to get some big, tough runs and some big yards against a really good defense and then plowed that thing in for the touchdown, going over 1,000 in his career. And he's been banged up a little bit, through it, but he's been very productive through his time here and even more so in the locker room, just the type of leader he is with the guys. And everybody looks up to him. He's a younger player, but he's got the respect and command of the locker room.
Turn it over to the local media.
You mentioned Brian getting hurt. What's his status?
Yeah, it's up in the air right now. He's getting with the team docs and MRIs and all that stuff. So it just wasn't fun. I know he wants to be out there, and we'll try to get back as soon as possible. And so I don't really have a update on him in terms of all the treatments and docs and everything were today. So we'll see how that goes kind of day to day. And like I say, Preston, I think, stepped in and did a really good job, and look forward to seeing what he can do if he's the man in charge.
Gotcha. So, and then these games against Abilene always seem to be real close, back and forth. What's the key to getting a win this week against them?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a double overtime, single overtime, untimed down, last play of the game. There is no telling when these two teams tee it up. And Coach Patterson does a really good job over there, has done a really good job in the 2 years he's been there. Like I say, had to play them twice last year, and both of them came down to the wire. We were very fortunate to win both of those. But this year it's two new teams, and so 4 o'clock we'll tee it up and see what happens. But I would expect people that show up that homecoming game going to get their money's worth, because if the pass has anything to do with it, it's going to be another exciting football game between the two teams.
Yeah, and then speaking of homecoming, how much motivation do you, and how often do you talk to the team about just winning for the fans, especially that come on homecoming, to give them something to get excited about for showing up?
Yeah, we talked about homecoming once. That was at the team meeting this morning. Homecoming, can represent a lot of distractions, but our job in homecoming is to win the football game. That's what we do. There's all kinds of other things going on with parades and reunions and alums coming in, and that's great. That's awesome. It's a great weekend for SFA, and there's a lot of fun stuff going on around town and around the university. But our job and our focus in that locker room is the game. And that's what we've got to get ready for. We've got to have a great week of practice. I know we're beat up, and we've got guys out on both sides of the football, but injuries equal opportunities. And at 4 o'clock Saturday, and nobody going to give a flip about who's hurt. Abilene Christian's not going to care who's hurt. Fans aren't going to care who's hurt. And the record book's not going to care who's hurt. We've got to be prepared to go out there and play well and somehow pull out a victory.
Obviously, the close results over the past years, you could even bring in the color scheme about the purpleness of both teams. But especially in your coaching career for your time here at SFA, did you ever see this rivalry kind of start forming or taking shape? Was that something you were expecting, or is this something that's just kind of naturally just come up and now we get to embrace it?
Yeah, I think it goes back, through the years, and you've got two like-minded universities that both wear purple. But then just, I think two good ball clubs that have battled it out, and they play to the final whistle, for 60 minutes. And so it's, provided some really good, fun football. And, I've been in this state now for 24 years, and all 24 years I've been coaching, I think Abilene Christian, most all of them have been on the schedule one time or another. I worked there for 6 years, so I've got some blood in those bricks and know a lot of, those alums and former players, and some of those. You look around their stadium, got a nice new stadium over there, and got some Hall of Famers, and I've recruited or coached a lot of those guys. So there's some, inherent rivalries there and some fun, and we build that in too. So just to build the game up, I'll have a lot of texts from ACU people this week that I played or coached or was around when we lived there in Abilene. So it's a fun rivalry, and I think it's good for college football. It's good for both universities, and should be a fun time again Saturday at 4 o'clock. Homer Bryce, homecoming. Get your tickets now.
I think that's enough for the commercial we'll put together later. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Axel.
I got a question, Coach.
Yes.
That's not beyond there. I was just curious, being able to watch the game, I think in the first half you had hit like 9 different guys, 9 different receivers got the ball.
Yep.
So I was wondering, was that part of the plan to get it to your skilled guys? Because Brian usually, goes for a lot of the home runs.
Yep.
It just seemed like he was just on a roll, hitting the skilled guys.
Yeah. No, that was
Flipping.
that was the part of that turf's a little something else, but that was part of the game plan was just to spread the ball out and we felt like we'd be able to take some shots. They have some really talented corners there at UCA, and so that makes it tough on the big balls. But we felt like we could get them with the short and intermediate throws, which we were able to do, which opened up the run game a little bit. And you get them stretched like that, then you can start, going over the top. But I thought they did a good job, and heck, even Max Quick got in on the fun. He threw him one, out of our own end zone just about. But hey, the game was about to get away from us, and we dialed up the old Lufkin third baseman or first baseman. I can't remember what he played in baseball, but he slung it out there, and Lawton made a great catch. And like I said, there were some great performances. Just disappointing to come up short, but really proud of them.
You're gonna put him at third string quarterback now.
Have you been watching our practice? Nathan, you got our office bugged or what?
I'm not that.
You never know.
Know about
You
it.
never know. Somebody will be there. Thank you.